Welcome, everyone. We are back with the Niche to Profit Show. I am Danni Ackerman, also known as the Danni App. And yes, thank you. For those listening live, head on over to that live chat and participate because I can actually see when you guys post there. If you have a question during the show, we can go ahead and try to get that addressed to the guest I'm going to be bringing on in just a moment. It's someone I'm introducing to my community for pretty much the first time, and who has just made a world of difference in my business, in my life. I'm going to be telling you all about her more and having her on. Later in the show, we're going to be featuring a niche of the week. I got this crazy news story. I came in this morning. It was like not even on the schedule, but I have to share. I have to talk about it. So we're going to be doing that. And I'm going to give you guys a chance to win a ticket to the More Fun, Bigger Profits conference. We're going to be doing that. Yes, there you go. We really need to build up that ka-ching. I don't know. I like a big, robust ka-ching, and we've got to work on that. All right. So we are going to get started here. See if we can get the lovely Belanie Dishong on. We have her calling in via Skype. Modern technology. I love it. Belanie has a business called Live at Choice, and she is known as the belief changer. And I have to say this really quick. Belanie doesn't even know this. She does not know this. I met Belanie through my business coach, Michelle Sism. And the first few times you kind of heard Belanie, I thought, this lady's kind of nuts. She's kind of out there. I don't need what she's saying. I'm good, right? I've known Belanie now for close to 2 years, I think, and I've worked with Belanie, and I think she is just one of the most amazing people that my life has ever been blessed with. Just has made an incredible difference. So I am so excited to have her here with us today and to introduce her to you. Belanie, hi.
Hi, how are you, Danny?
I am well. So you didn't know that, did
You
you?
know, I'll tell you, no, I didn't know that, but I have to tell you from what you said, here's what I heard, right? I heard that the viral infectiousness that I am has about a 12-month gestation period. That's what I heard when you said that. So I'm honored to be on your show, and I so look forward to this call and other things that we have planned together. So thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, Belanie, for those who don't know you, which is pretty much all of my audience, because as it turned out, you were supposed to speak at the More Fun, Bigger Profits event last year, and you were there, but you were really, 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 really sick. So, we didn't get to bring you out and introduce you. Um, so, for those, which is unless your followers have made it over here too, that don't know you, tell us about your business and how it got started and what you do.
Well, first, I spent 27 years in the mortgage industry and thought that was pretty much my career for my entire life. However, at about age 35, I really got into some trouble for myself, and trouble not with the law, by the way, but internal trouble. And I began to realize through some things that were really tough for me. I began to realize that I am the common denominator in everything that takes place in my life. And if that's the truth, then that means I'm the solution. And so as I offer you and everyone else, is you are the problem, whatever you're trying to overcome, you're the problem. And that's the good news, because you are the fix. I've always said that nobody needs to be fixed. You are already equipped with the fix. And so in 1993, so from 85 to 93, I turned everything around in my life. The common denominator in me began to celebrate that possibility. And I really changed every part of my life. And so friends actually had a huge request, and that would be that I could teach to others that which I had taught myself. And that started in 1993. And so I'm celebrating 22 years of not only having changed the way my life is, helping others do exactly the same thing. And it's an incredible journey and an opportunity that I'm so thrilled I stepped into in 1993.
Well, I'm really glad you did too. Even though I was a little resistant. Do you find that a lot? Do you find people are resistant to acknowledging that which we don't really want to hear?
Imagine this. All of us have what I call the survivor within us. It's that gatekeeper. When we talk about the walls that come up, there's this gatekeeper. I call that the gatekeeper. And the issue with the gatekeeper is that on the other side of the gatekeeper is where all of the awesomeness shows up. It's the success in building a business. It's the success in love and relationships. It's where money works. But that gatekeeper is kind of like we've given it the authority to determine our choices for us. And so therefore, the world shows up a specific way. And now, to go back and address your exact question, the gatekeeper thinks it's supposed to keep you in your safe little comfort zone, right there in your little spot. And so, Danni, where you were when I met you was you were in your safe little spot, not getting where you wanted to go with your business. However, you were playing it safe in that little spot. And when, I kind of show up between the woo and the woo. I'm not woo-woo. I'm just sort of between the woo and the woo, in that what I teach is not tangible in the moment. You can't see. And that's where you went, I don't know about her. And that gatekeeper is saying, we're good. We'll break through this. We'll figure it out. We're smart. We're brilliant. And you are smart. You are brilliant. And you are genius. And you're limited as long as the gatekeeper is making the choices. And that determines how you are going to see the world around you. You are the center of your world. You are the center of your universe. You are the center of everything going on around you. However, the way you get to see it and experience it is determined by that gatekeeper.
Right.
So the answer to your question, some people are ready to step beyond the gatekeeper and don't know it. And some people are still listening to the gatekeeper. And those are the ones that take a while to step in and say, you know what? I think what you're saying is making sense. I'm going to take back my authority to make choice, and I'm going to step into this.
Yeah. And, even though you say, I was in my comfort zone. So let's be really clear, you guys. Comfort zones aren't always comfortable. We know there's other stuff out there. And I guess it's like, it's almost guilt ridden, which maybe is that the gatekeeper kind of making us feel, guilty.
That, and Danni, the part of that whole comfort zone story is that for me, there's really no such thing as a comfort zone, because if you were really comfortable, you'd never know when you were getting uncomfortable if it were outside your zone. So it's just, we know when we're pushing the limit, and all that limit is you're pushing on, I call it core filters. You're pushing on these filters that's determining your world, and that survivor is the buffer. It's what's there to make sure you stay in this illusion of a comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I gotcha. I gotcha.
So what goes on? What goes on for you, Danni? If I could ask you a question, what goes on? Because I think this will be important for the listeners. Is what goes on for you now that you are bringing down the gatekeeper?
Mm. What goes on? Oh, see, I didn't know she's going to do this to me. Um, yeah, I'm impatient. I don't want to have to do work to get to where I want to go. I'll just say it. I want it all to happen now, and I get mad, that I still have to go through some of that stuff and work through things. Yeah, I'm just I see where I can be now.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now I want it now.
But what do people say to you now that they are amazed at? What are the things that people notice?
Well, what's funny? I ask my appsters. I check in with them to make sure that I'm bringing them value and serving them, and I'm looking for them to tell me, oh yeah, you really helped me do XYZ on eBay or whatever. And the one thing that keeps coming back is that I inspire and motivate them. And I never saw myself as that. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool, because that's really what people need. Yeah, you need to learn the nuts and bolts of things. But if I can be that force and I can help people, that feels really amazing.
Well, what's important about what you're saying right now is that before, I would suspect people still said the same thing and you couldn't be present to it. So therefore
Yeah.
you couldn't grow yourself because you weren't getting that fuel for yourself, because it'd just go right past you. You'd be looking for one more person to say it because it just didn't feel real. And now you're able to own it. And that's what you're hearing, is
Yeah.
that that you're owning it. So anyway, enough testing you.
See how good she is? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, people were saying that from the very first time I got on stage. And I was like, oh, whatever. But yeah, so and in owning it, I am able to actually get out there and help more people.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Right.
That's
right.
that's absolutely the important part, because until then you're in work it out mode, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're in acceleration.
Yeah. And it's funny, on the way here, I'm like, you always have me thinking deeper. And as many people know, I have a son who he is 10, and he is special needs. And he's struggling right now. And I thought about you and how he's being defined by the world, and his core filters are being, kind of put in place, and it's really got me thinking more about, like, how am I going to, help him through this later, and thinking of all your philosophies and how awesome it is that I have that knowledge from working with you of helping him, and knowing that he is brilliant, and he is, like you say, the common denominator, and all of and it's just, I know I'm like kind of blubbering out the words here, but that, I mean, you just get me thinking deeper, and that the possibilities of everything are just so amazing.
When anyone's thinking deeper, you're going past that norm. You're going beyond that pat answer. And this applies hugely in all relationships, and in our businesses specifically. It's a huge proponent to success, is to be able to look deeper and look deeper and look deeper. And that's what that inquiry process is all about. It's because as long as we're skirting on the top of things, we continue to get the same thing. So that's why you enjoy that piece of ability to look deeper. And I know that the conversation that we're having, and more of what we will have in this call, I believe, is a new introduction, not necessarily to the individual people, but definitely into the industry that you're in,
Right.
to bring in this conversation called mindset.
Well, I deal with people on their prices. I mean, that's kind of, everybody laughs, but that's the number one thing I end up telling people is, oh my gosh, raise your prices. Raise your prices. Be confident in what you're offering out there. So, and what you do plays into that too, that kind of lack of confidence in being able to put out to the world our value and the value even within the products that we're selling.
I'm going to speak to that a minute because so your show is about niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
And finding your niche and finding that place where you feel you belong. And when I started out, I'm a coach, obviously, but when I started out, I wasn't clear about where I needed to go or where I wanted to go. As far as once I decided that I was actually going to seriously build a business in what I'm doing. First, it was a hobby for years. I piddled at it, and I was making huge headway for people in their lives. But what wasn't happening is I wasn't taking ownership of the business part of it. And so once I did that, there was what I began to realize that and come into my own about it, because I was terrified to do this. I was a mortgage banker. I've been doing that 27 years. And what on earth am I doing now? But here's what's important in the area of niche. One of the things that I got very bold about, and this was the evolution to my success, is I got very bold that I am a coach's best friend.
Mm.
And that's where I found my niche, was that I could partner with other coaches, for instance. And because I work on the emotional prosperity in a person's life or their business or the way money shows up for them, because that's what I do, then I could complement the work of a business strategist coach.
Mm-hmm.
I could in other words, I could hold one hand of their client while they held the other. And the other client would create the plan, and I would be going down the path with them. Kind of, I laugh and say it's like kicking the cans out of the way, moving things out of the way that's blocking them from seeing what their niche is, or their ability to move beyond the fear of pricing and putting their products up, and just speaking to your industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a coach, a well-established coach in the area, like you are, right, in building a business coach, building a business in the e-commerce, we still have to deal with the human element, the human stops, the fears, the resentment, the feeling of too much competition, can't find my niche. And so here's the thing, people used to ask me, and I'm sure, Danni, as you're working with your people used to ask me, well, what's your ideal client, or what's your ideal product, or what's your ideal method of delivering your product? And for me, when they would say, well, who's my ideal client? I would say everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's mind, right, could use this philosophy. And they would look at me and say, that's great. And that's not your ideal client, because that's not how you approach it. You can't just throw everything out there in the market, right? You can't just go after everybody. You've got to find that place that when you get there, you may sell all the other stuff too, but what's going to grab them? What's going to pull that attention right then? And so I got bold and began to just make it known that I can work with other established coaches. I'm telling you, it's what turned my world around in my business to a business. It didn't change the quality of what I do. It changed the business that I built and have developed. And now I'm on the stages all over the country, and in my own stages, much less other people's stages. And And then I can sell to their friends and family and the participants' family and their friends. But the starting point of the success is the niche.
Yeah. Great point. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about that stage.
When you're working for yourself and you have your own business, the only limits there are the ones you give yourself.
I am so excited that we're just less than 3 weeks away from the More Fun, Bigger Profits conference, which that was the little promo. By the way, I just have to give a little shout out real quick. I have an amazing guy that does that video work for me from a company called erated.co that I work with. And anybody wants to check out it. It's not a video. It's actually about sharing your reputation, your online reputation. But he actually does this work for me. And so I give him kind of creative freedom. And that's what he came up with. So I'm really excited about that. Let's go back to the conversation we were having about how you bring your message, pretty much to the world now, because you travel all over and you are on the stage. And I got to tell everybody. So Belanie has an amazing 3-day event. And do you have dates for that yet?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. You can share that.
Yeah. So the event name is Living Your Amazing Life. And the theme in it is to imagine, create, and live amazingly. It's held in Houston, Texas, October 16, 17, and 18 of this year.
Great. I mean, I know I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it. I went last year, and it's hard to explain. I mean, you really have to be there. But Belanie got me to do something that I was absolutely determined that I couldn't do. There was no way. And then I started watching everybody else in the room do this thing. So it was funny. In leading up to this, she hands out releases, like liability releases. That's your first clue something big's coming. But you had us break boards. And we're not talking like little thin, no, these were, and I should have brought it. I still have my board because that was a big deal for me. It was breaking that board. And it's like, this is what you do. And it's not that you have some superpowers or anything, but you have such an ability to help people see their own ability to change things. I guess that sums up what you do. So I, of course, invited Belanie to be on my stage this year at the More Fun, Bigger Profits conference, because I think there are things that hold us back from having that business that we want to have, living that dream that we want. It's not about the amount of sales you want to have. It's not about, making enough to pay the bills. It's really about what is going to give you that satisfaction of being a business owner. I mean, there's a reason that we own our own businesses versus going and getting a job. There's no way I could go back to work for somebody. There's just no way. So failure is not an option for me in having my own business. But I see a lot of people struggle, and I see people saying, I'm going to have to go get a job. So I hope if you're feeling that way, you're coming to the event, because we're going to give you the tools to fix that and have the business that you dream of. And so can you share a little bit about, we've talked a little bit about what you're going to be speaking about there, but maybe if you could share a little of what you're going to be speaking about at the conference.
Imagine what it would be like if you could manage your mind. Imagine what it would be like if you could manage those thoughts, that committee that meets on your behalf, right? And So we're going to work on that in the event. We're going to look at what are the things that you are truly going to capitalize on to the degree that you get what you've come for. And so that's probably sounded a little bit vague. So let me say this. What we're going to do, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to determine the outcome of that event before you ever get started. And that's kind of a rare conversation because we have a tendency to show up at events and conferences and we go through the motions and we do what we do in it and we get to see when it's over how it turned out. Do I still have you, Danny?
Yep, we're okay. Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going.
Okay. All right. So we wait to see how it's going to turn out to determine what we got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how we live life anyway. It's like, let's go see what the day does and we'll give you a report on it tonight. And so when you learn how to manage your mind in such a way that when you walk into an event, one of the first things you're going to do is you're going to determine that outcome. And then we're going to revisit that outcome before the event's over. It's an incredible way to begin to live your life. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. And so what does that offer you? It's like it offers you the opportunity to determine the outcome of your business on a day-to-day basis rather than waiting till it's over. I'll give you an example. So one day I had several calls to make, had 5 people to follow up on. And that I had spoken to once before about signing up for one of my workshops. So the way I did it is I just made a list of who they are, and I just wrote paid in full. And I was on the phone for 30 minutes, called them all, and put a large sum of money in my bank account that day. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I declared it. But the most important thing is that I know what gets in the way of you believing that. So when Danny opened up the call and said, Belanie is a belief changer, your belief changer, it's because it's your belief system that drives your outcomes. And I'm going to teach you to see and to be able to work your mind in such a way that the outcomes are the way you desire them rather than the way you hope they will be.
And I love that because the whole theme of the event is for them to build. I say 6-figure blueprint is what I say, the message. And someone corrected me and said, but what if I want to do 7 figures? It's like, I put a limit on that. Shame on me. So now it's like your dream business blueprint. Yeah, and then we're going to be building that. And I've been working on the binders and the content, the last couple of days, and it's really exciting. I'm just kind of going through this. Because I've been through so much of this, and it's why my business is so successful. And I get out of my own way now, which is a lot of it. So I'm really, really excited that we're going to get to work on that with people. I want to make sure we have time to share this story because it's a story that you tell. For people that know you, starfish are a love of yours. And you tell a starfish story that I would love for you to share with everybody.
Well, the starfish is symbolic to me for, it really defines how we hold the business live at choice. So the story goes this way. The story, and I don't know the author. It's an unknown author, and you may hear it in very different variations. But for me, I tell it this way, and that's that there's an elderly man sitting on the beach, and he's in despair because all he sees are thousands of starfish washing up on the beach, dying. And he's sitting there in the resignation of how it cannot make a difference, and it can't make a difference at all. They're all dying. And he looks up and he sees a younger person walking across the beach, and he notices that the younger person is reaching down, the young man, he's reaching down, and he's tossing something back in the water, and he walk a little further and he picks something up. He's tossing it back in the water. And finally, he gets up in close sight to the older man, and he notices that he's picking up these starfish one at a time and throwing them back in the ocean. And as he gets up in the elderly man's ear distance, the elderly man says to him, "What are you doing that for? Can't you see? Can't you see that you can't make a difference? They're dying by the thousands. You can only pick up one at a time." And he reaches down, he picks up one, he throws it back to the ocean, and he says, "I made a difference for that one." Mm-hmm. And so that resonates in my heart so huge, because the difference is the distinction between resignation and the power of one and the greatness of one, because you never know how far that one that you touch and that difference that you make and all of the differences it's going to make in the world to come. And that's just the foundation totally that who we are at Live a Choice. And that's what we stand on, is the distinction between resignation and the greatness of one.
I just love that. Every time I see a starfish, I think of you.
Well, it also works well for the brand. You can believe how many packages I get in the mail with starfish. It's like, I saw a starfish and all I thought, I remembered you. So here's the thing, Danni, I want you to see this. So you're a starfish in my world, right? Mm-hmm. You're one of the starfish in my world. And when you share about your son and you talk about passing this conversation, this thought process, this training, this learning onto your son, that's the greatness of the power of the one that you are.
Gotcha.
And then he will pass it on,
right.
And he will and they will pass it on, right? Probably remember that commercial they used to have, it's like,
and so on and so on.
So on and so on.
And I was going to tell you, I was thinking you did starfish. I did cows. I'm just thinking maybe I made a bad choice there.
Are you getting any cows in the mail?
Oh my goodness, I have shelves full of cows. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love. I mean, it's not about, you probably know this. It's not about the gift, the item that you get. It is that connection and that meaning behind it, and that, you made a difference for somebody. I totally get that. It's just funny. Mine's cows. It's just not quite as romantic as starfish. Belanie, thank you so much for coming on with us today. I know you have a hugely busy schedule. In fact, you're not even home. You're like some other event or something. I don't know. You're always somewhere. But tell everybody where they can connect with you and find you.
Awesome. My website is liveatchoice.com. That's my website. You can find me on Facebook. You can as Facebook/Belanie, BELANIE Dishong. Visit my site there, my fan page there, if you will. It's /liveatchoice. And but my name, Belanie Dishong, shows up on all social medias. Would love to connect with you, and I truly look forward to meeting each and every one of you at your event, Danni. It's like, don't miss it. Don't miss being there. In addition to all of the incredibleness, Danni and I are a great team together, and you're going to get some really special stuff.
Thank you so much, Belanie.
Thank you.
We will be talking soon.
All right. Thank you, Danni. Appreciate the opportunity to be with your community.
All right.
Bye.
Isn't she awesome, you guys? It's funny because it really did. It took me a while to break down those barriers of being able to accept, which there was times where I was so mad at her. It's like, stop telling me this. Stop. I don't want to hear it. But just an incredible, incredible lady. And I cannot wait for you guys to meet her. Those of you who are making it out to the event. And I hope that's everybody. Everybody who's listening, you should all be there. You really should. We're doing something. Did I tell you we're doing karaoke? We're totally doing karaoke the first night. It has nothing to do with building your business, by the way. Let's just be clear. I'm not tying in karaoke with building your business. It's just something I really like to do, so we're doing it. Okay. Because it's my event and I get to do that. So, gosh, how do you follow up Belanie? Let's talk about an awesome item that's sold this week. And somebody that I really want to feature because she has been one of my followers for a very long time and has faithfully followed my advice, and her sales are like going through the roof, and she's found her niche, and she had a crazy good score this week. And I'm gonna have to get my notes closer because my eyes just aren't working. I want to give you this item number correctly. It is 1116-1765-8878. And if you go over there, you can see this on the screen. It doesn't look like much. It looks like just a slag glass lamp. So, and I forgive me, and Paula, are you in the chat? Because you can tell people any details I leave out. So the story goes that she had seen these at, I believe, at an auction, and somebody outbid her, or no, I'll get this. She'd seen them at an estate sale, and they were too high priced. And then later she saw the same ones. This person had dumped them at the auction. Anyways, somebody else could not sell these lamps. That's the point I'm going to make to you. Somebody else could not sell these, and they were willing to just toss them back, in. And she picked them up, and you can see there, $127.99 each. And I believe she said she paid like 10 or 15 bucks. Yeah, somebody, see, if I don't take really good notes and actually bring them with me, the secretary in my brain forgets to file things correctly, and, the little details get left out. But the point of this is that Paula has built a niche where she doesn't have the competition. She can go buy from somebody else who hasn't figured out the niche thing yet and get crazy high prices because she is marketing to that select crowd. And so I really wanted to highlight Paula's store today, and we're going to go over here and take a look. So if you go and look at the items, all of a sudden it's kind of like this experience. It's not just stuff for sale. It is an experience in Paula's store with this really wacky, cool, crazy, awesome stuff. And let me tell you guys, buying is emotional. I don't care if it is a pair of shoes, a piece of art for your wall, clothing. I mean, ladies, come on, clothing's emotional. Makeup, even like the drugs and the hairspray and all of that. Every single purchase that's made is an emotional purchase. And when you can figure out how to tap into a core market's emotions and convey that emotion in just about everything that you're selling, if not everything, ding, 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 you have got your niche. And that's what it's all about. And Paula has done a fantastic job of developing this, and I'm so proud. And you guys notice her prices are up there, and I bet some of you are going, oh my gosh, I would never pay that much for that. And guess what? You're not Paula's customer, and that's okay. I'm not Paula's. I am cheap, you guys. I am tight. Yeah. No, you guys do not want me buying stuff from you because that's going to mean that your price is too low. I really am. I'm not anybody's ideal customer out there because I really am a penny pincher. Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to take that back a little bit. Unless it comes to like some really cool glass. Now there's my emotional purchase there. I go crazy over the glass that I collect. And at that point, it's not about the price. It's about, ooh, I really need that piece in my collection. I don't have that one yet. So yeah, okay, there we go. So if you sell the glass I collect, I could be your customer. But other than that, I'm really, really cheap. I shop at thrift stores, for crying out loud. I mean, I probably shouldn't admit this, on a big broadcast here, but everything I wear comes from thrift stores. I just see no reason to go pay full retail. None whatsoever. That's how I am. That's how I grew up. It's not that I can't afford to go buy retail. I can go shop with the best of them. It's just, to me, it's just a waste. So, but thank goodness, most of the people out there are not shopping like me. And you can find those target markets where they're not cheap tightwads like me, and they'll spend some big money on stuff because it's all about emotional purchasing. So that's the key to niche, you guys. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, about kind of my not really niche. See, I don't want you guys okay, let me just be clear. There will be no bolos on this show. That's the acronym for be on the lookout for. I am not a bolo fan, okay? I'm just saying, bolo to me is one of those funky country ties that you wear. No bolos, because I don't want you copying me. I don't want you copying, this seller over here or this seller over here. I want you developing your own niche, your own thing that makes you unique, that causes those customers to come to you. And there is no competition then. It doesn't matter what anybody else lists it for. Those are your customers. So that's my thing here. All right, you guys. So I've got to share, like I said, I skimming my I don't even know where I got this, my Google alerts or something. I saw this absolutely ridiculous law that got passed in Louisiana. And if you are in Louisiana, I am so sorry. And if you're in Louisiana and you haven't heard about this yet, please update me on how this goes down. But it's now illegal to use cash to buy used goods in Louisiana. I actually went and I went to Snopes to make sure this was legit. And it checks out. It is all over the place as legit. I'm trying to find like some House bill something or other here. Government. I'll never talk politics, but let's just call this stupid. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. So their whole purpose of this was to try to prevent people from purchasing stolen goods at yard sales or flea markets. And surprisingly, pawn shops are not part of this. Isn't that where most of the illegal stuff ends up going? Anyway, so we'll see how this is going to pan out. I can't even fathom that this is going to be enforceable or that they're going to be able to. But right now, it's passed as law that you can no longer use cash to purchase used goods in Louisiana. So a crazy, crazy, crazy news story of the week. And we're going to take one more quick commercial break and be back for the rest of the show. I'm Danni Ackerman of thedanniapp.com, and what I do is inspire, motivate, and empower online sellers to grow a six-figure business. I have been doing the coaching side of my business for 3 years, and I have been an online seller for, oh my goodness, this is my 17th year. We have group coaching programs, we have private coaching programs. I do in-person live events all around the country. I do a large 3-day event here in Las Vegas called More Fun, Bigger Profits. And it's all about helping people build a plan, taking action, and reaching their goals in their online business. You can come find out more about me at thedanniapp.com. And we're back. So again, I know you're going to just hear me talking a lot about this event. I'm really, really, I hate to sound like I'm proud of myself. It just sounds so arrogant. But this was kind of a big deal for me to put on this event. And for those who do not know what it is like to put on a big major event, let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff you learn about industries and dealing with people. And this was a huge, huge stretch out of my comfort zone. Last year, of course, was the first year. I did 2 days. This year it's going to be 3 days because there was no way I could pack everything I wanted to pack into 2 days for you. The speakers, the caliber of the speakers I'm bringing in, I'm really, really jazzed at how it's all coming together. If you were there last year, hold on to your socks because it is going to be a completely different experience this year. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there? Yeah. So something I wanted to do to make this available to more people who haven't bought their ticket yet is to give you a chance to win a ticket. And the way we're going to do this is use that wonderful thing called social media. Facebook is my social media of choice for this. It's the easiest to track and make sure we get everybody's entries in. And all you have to do to enter to win a ticket is to go onto Facebook and post, I want to go to the More Fun, Bigger Profits event because, and fill in the blank, and then be sure and tag me so I see that. And all of those names are going to be put into a drawing, and then next week, live, we will select the winner. Actually, you know what? I want to give away 3 tickets. So just, I know some of you are going, oh, well, I'm not going to bother because the chance of me winning is like, and if you're thinking that, you really need to be at this event because I know that we can help some of that mindset stuff that's causing you to think that way. But we're going to have 3 chances for winners out there. So you can, if you're a hashtag fan, I still have not, it's still a £sign to me. I'm sorry. I think I'm showing my age. But if you're a hashtag fan, we do have a hashtag. It is MFBP 2015, which stands for More Fun, Bigger Profits 2015. So you might see around me, I have a few goodies. The first, so I was talking about the emotional purchasing thing. And honestly, art is the biggest emotional purchase niche out there. I found out one of the reasons I didn't do the show this last week is we moved my mom into our home, which meant I moved my whole business. Long story short, I was working in the home that mom was living in. So now we condensed households. And my daughter, who was here on the last show, she called me an art hoarder. And that's because I buy art on emotion. Sometimes I can't even put it into words. It's just, if it just like draws me, if it has that look that, I would put this on my wall, I buy it. Because I figure if I have that feeling about it, somebody else out there has that feeling, and that equals big bucks. Because people do not buy art on logic and going and, wait, I saw this over somewhere else cheaper. Oh, wait, maybe there's a Groupon for it. No, you buy it because you see it, you fall in love. And those of you who are fellow art lovers out there, you know what I'm talking about. It's like you see something and all of a sudden waves of memories or, something comes over you and it puts you in a place. Yeah, that thing. So I do really well selling art. I love to sell art because the dollar value is just about how much emotion it evokes. In fact, I'm just shipping out a $250 painting today that, I don't know, some mid-century goofy abstract roses thing. $250. Boom. Gone. Cost me $5. And I'm quietly saying that I really hope my customers are not listening to the show. It's like, sorry. So yeah. So I brought some pieces of art that I have acquired. And like I said, I have hundreds of pieces of art now in my garage. I had them spread all out over the last house, so you couldn't quite tell how many I had. I was getting chastised a lot. And I saw a lot of them down at the booth. And that's where art really does well for me, because somebody's walking into the booth at the antique mall and having that experience with that piece of art. So that's where I really do well with it. But let's start with this. Now, so who can figure out, just for me like showing this, what this piece of art is? Because it isn't just a picture of a pretty little horsey. Even though he's a pretty little horsey, I got to play with horses this last week too. It was pretty cool. Yeah. So this is an old paint by numbers. Who remembers paint by numbers? Yay, Cindy got it right in the chat. So people buy these old paint by numbers now because they did them when they were younger, and it was like made them feel good. You did a paint by number and you felt like you were an artist, and it was special. And so now people look for these and collect them because it brings back that emotion. So if art is one of your things, or if niching in those items that are like from come on, somebody help me out. When did paint by numbers really become popular? Because I didn't look this up. Lisa, you painted this exact horse. So when, dare I ask Lisa, how old are you? No. See, we don't ask that. I'm thinking like 70s, maybe. Yeah, 60s, 70s. Thank you. So, yeah, so it brings back that emotion of that time. So these do really well, really well. And so I had to bring this, you guys, because when I was in Houston, we did something really fun. We went to one of those wine and painting party things when I was in Houston. And I've never painted anything in my life beyond, finger paints when I was a kid. I don't have the patience to paint. I've always wanted to. That's the funny thing. I look at art and I go, man, I really wish I could just sit there and paint that ocean scene, whatever. So I've always kind of had those aspirations. But again, the impatience thing wasn't for me. So we go to this painting thing, and what they do is they give you the example, I guess, of what you're going to be painting. And you look at it and you go, oh, okay. But they go step by step, and they tell you, how much paint to put on the brush, which part of the brush to use, how to do the strokes back and forth, all that good stuff. And we got to take some creative liberties. So this is my masterpiece. This is the first ever Danni app original. Yes, thank you. And I thought what would be fun is we're going to be doing a live auction at the event. And I'm going to put this up for auction. And you get to spend you don't spend money at the event auction. You spend Danni dollars. So we're going to be doing that. That's going to be just one of several things that will be auctioned off. Because auctions are my thing. Auctions are just a whole lot of fun. And they get your adrenaline pumping. So I thought, what better for my crowd than to do a live auction? So we're going to do that, but no money out of your pocket. You're going to get to use those Danni dollars. I don't know if you guys can see this big old thing in the background here. Let me see if I can get it over here. As I said, I love art. Let's see if I can show this to you. I don't know. Can you guys see that? I'm trying to. All right. It's birds. Okay. I'm hiding. I'm just hiding now. So I found this when my daughter and I were going to estate sales, yard sales in California. Let me see if I can. Just stay there. Stay there, birds. And I walked into the room and it kind of hit me. I saw this painting and I thought, I really like that. I don't know why. I thought of Jonathan Livingston Seagull at first, But it just really, there was something about it that just really struck me. And I didn't even think about the price at first when I, was going to buy it. I picked it up and it was in my pile, and I thought, I better look at how much it is. And it was only $30. So I thought, oh yeah, no brainer. This one's going home with me. It is an original oil. It is vintage, and I haven't looked anything up yet, you guys, but I just know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I can get at least $100, if not more, for this painting because of that feeling that I had when I looked at it, that I'm going to be able to convey to somebody else who will have that same sort of, oh, that's awesome. That puts me back to that time when I went to the beach and, that seagull pooped on our picnic there. And, I mean, yeah. But it's emotion. And if I can leave you guys with one thing, it's that when you are outsourcing and looking for things to resell, no matter what your niche is, whether it's clothes, shoes, jewelry, household goods, art, always think about that emotional factor, that pull. Because the difference between the brick and mortar retail of where everything used to be bought that way and how we're transitioning into e-commerce being the big heavyweight now is that we have to convey that emotion through a picture. It's not there in front of them now. So if you get items that picture well, that have something about them that pull your ideal customer to go and click, because once they click, and what I mean by that is, so they do a search, they see all these pictures of items, your items comes up and it says, oh, click over here. That click, my friends, is when you make or break it, because at that point they're interested. They've seen the picture, they've seen the price. Now you need to make sure that you sell it a little bit more in your description and give them the benefits now of why they need this item. And you're appealing to what you already know about your customer. If you're niched, right? You're talking to them and bam, you've got the sale. And that is how you do it. So I always want you to be thinking about how you can pull that customer in with the emotion. It's not stuff you're selling. It's benefits. It's solving a problem. It's filling a need. It isn't about the stuff. Always keep that in mind when you're writing up those listings. Always, 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 always. Did I say always? So, an hour goes really fast. Seems like a long time, doesn't it? And I get to the end of the show, it's like, wow. So we have the amazing John Colder Ice Lawson next week as our guest on the show. And he is also going to be at the More Fun, Bigger Profits conference. So you get to see John live and in person there. But he's going to be joining us and talking about his topic of choice, which is kick-ass social commerce. Oh my gosh, he's going to kill me. I totally messed up his book. Yeah. That's okay. John and I go way back. He'll forgive me. He is the social media guru guy, not just how to go post something, use on Facebook, but about how to use it for marketing, how to target your marketing. John and I, we speak the same language about niche. We're right together on that. So he's going to bring you his take on it. And hey guys, with that, how can I forget to thank our absolutely amazing guest today, Belanie Dishong. Yes. Please connect with her, follow her. She puts out amazing newsletters and information that can really help you. And with that, go be profitable and make it fun. We'll see you next week.